It's time to explore the world according to Glenn. I'm Kevin Jacobsen. Glenn Close is my favorite actress, and this show is all about exploring the career of one of the finest actors of her generation. Each episode, I'll be joined by a guest as we dive into one of Glenn's movies, TV shows, or stage productions, going chronologically through her career, discussing her performance, and assessing the project itself. And today, we are talking Glenn's performance in the fifth and final season of Damages.
Time nominee Glenn Close, motherfuckers.
My guest today is back again after joining me for two of this show's best episodes, dare I say, the Serving in Silence episode and the Checks Notes Things You Can Tell Just by Looking at Her episode. Got that title right. One of the busiest people in podcasting right now, host of the Across the Hooniverse podcast and the Q Division podcast. She's back to talk more of Glenn on TV, this time a TV series. It's Chelsea Eichholz.
Kevin, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm so honored to be included on the Damages. I do not recall whatever the hell that film you just said I was on for, sure, but Serving in Silence, I feel like I'm always serving in silence. Maybe not always silent.
You are.
But that movie really changed the chemistry of my brain. I love it so much.
I'm so glad. Yes. What an unexpected journey that was. Truly.
Truly.
Yes. But of course, before we talk Glenn in the final season of Damages, I, of course, know your relationship to Glenn Close, as we talk about frequently. And you told me about your idea for a future Glenn in your second episode, which was, I believe, casting her as the Master on Doctor Who.
She would
Very
crush.
on brand for you.
She would crush it, being villainous, slaying while slaying people. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Well, my alternative question for you this time around is a fun little exercise where I'm asking you to recast Glenn in a Best Actress nominated role. What would that be and why?
I mean, the easiest is Sunset Boulevard. I Still Hope and Dream for the musical.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the easiest would be Network.
Oh, boy. Wow.
No, I think she would crush that Faye Dunaway role. She would bring something slightly different to it. Also, maybe I just want to see her make out with William Holden. Maybe that's a fantasy. But I think the correct answer is, if we're going down the Faye rabbit hole, is let's get Glenn and Mildred Pierce, because I want to see that flavor of Glenn that we've not really got to see a whole lot of, but we know is there. There's a little bit there in that Things You Could Tell When She Used to Be Mine, but we want to dig deeper, the 9 lives of Glenn Close.
Yes.
But I think Mildred Pierce, she would crush it, and she would look amazing in that black and white. Oh.
Yeah, and the coat, she would rock that great coat that Mildred has, and she would slap her child. So, there's so much potential here.
There is. I want to see that version of her as a mother, since we've seen her as a mother to Michael and Michael's child.
Yes. Very good segue. Wow. I'm so impressed. It's almost like you do this professionally.
Occasionally. Once or twice,
Yeah. Well, on that note, I mean, I love all that, so co-sign everything you just said. Let's get to what we're here to talk about today. Season 5 of Damages. This final season, this was already in the works as early as 2010 when DirecTV renewed the show for season 4 and 5. So as I alluded to in the season 4 episode, the Kesslers and Zellman knew they had a 5th season in the works, which they intended to be the final season, which allowed them to build up to a big showdown of Patty versus Ellen that this show has really been striving toward from the start. So Glenn Kessler said in an interview at the time, "We're bringing full circle what happened since the first season. It's been terrifically fun to go back and reinvest in all the horrors and manipulation and deceit and really blow it up as both women go at each other full force." And Todd Kessler added to that, unlike the past, there isn't a clear-cut antagonist this season. This time there's a lot of gray because we didn't want the audience to side with either Ellen or Patty. We want to keep them guessing. So, interesting. But the main crux of the season was indeed Patty and Ellen squaring off, with the custody battle looming over whether Patty can keep her granddaughter Catherine or if her very messy son Michael is going to get custody of her. And Ellen intends to testify against Patty, which Patty is quite fearful of given everything she knows about her. But the main case of the season involves the writers once again ripping from the headlines with a Julian Assange type figure. Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks, became a bit of a celebrity in the early 2010s after leaking information about war crimes that were committed by the army. So our analog for him here is Channing McLaren, played by this year's big guest star Ryan Phillippe. So the case of the season stems from a whistleblower named Naomi Walling, played by Jenna Elfman, coming forward with information about her company's insider trading, leaking documents to Channing McLaren's company, Channing Truth, only to find her personal information about various sexcapades she's had with Wall Street guys released. So she's essentially doxxed, and then she's found dead in an apparent suicide. And so Channing hires Ellen, who now has her own startup firm, to defend him in a case brought forth by Naomi's teenage daughter, who, as it happens, has hired Patty as her lawyer, filing a wrongful death suit and holding Channing responsible. Other notable guest stars this season include John Hannah as Rutger Simon, who is essentially the gatekeeper of Channing's site, who's involved in all this mess, and Janet McTeer, who Glenn recruited after working together on Albert Nobbs. Janet plays Kate Franklin, a woman from Patty's past who is now working for Ellen at her firm. So that's the basic setup of the season, more or less a summary, I guess, and all that. But most of the season follows Patty and Ellen's ongoing battle in and out of court to gain leverage in the case, while both of them are struggling with recurring nightmares and visions related to their past, like Patty trying to have Ellen killed, of course, and Ellen still dealing with the trauma of all that and seeing her fiance David from season 1 at various points. So yes, with all that said, Chelsea, I have to say, right off the bat, I'm so impressed because I remember you watched the first season around the same week that episode was released, and then you didn't watch it for a while until I locked you in for this final season episode.
Yep.
And you have seemingly spent the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, binge watching 4 full seasons of Damages, including this last one.
It was a fun journey. I spent one weekend, I just annihilated seasons 2 and 3, and then I basically took a week off because I had a child drop into my life, much like Patty. And then I leisurely took my way through the DirecTV era, is what I'm going to call it, because that's good. That channel had 15 bajillion names, and guess what? I was the perfect person for this episode for the DirecTV era because I was watching the DirecTV programming.
Oh my God. The Audience Network, the 101 Network. God only knows what other names there were.
You knew whenever they canceled Passions on NBC, the supernatural soap opera, and then the DirecTV Audience 101 got it for another year. You know I was glued. They got this. They got Damages, Passions, Friday Night Lights. I was seated. It is a good thing I was able to get DirecTV in my region.
That's incredible.
Yes.
So I just, again, appreciate you doing your due diligence. As always, you're one of my best students.
I try. I did all my homework for this. I suffered through season 2 and was like, what is going on here with you, Mr. William? Why are you here? I don't get it.
Yes. Well, I'm just going to ask you what your experience has been revisiting this show, and what are your thoughts on the final season, how it compares to the first 4, and of course, more than anything, your thoughts on Glenn as Patty Hewes.
Here's the thing. Glenn is always great. Even when these seasons, I have figured out the formula. The odd-numbered seasons are the good ones. The even-numbered seasons need some work. They need to go back to the drawing room.
Yeah.
They are so good, Glenn and Rose, that they ground so much nonsense, because Damages is like a prestige soap opera, like the Mad Men's at the same time. They're all just soap operas. They're being ridiculous. If you actually say what these plots are out loud, you're like, no, this belongs in Salem on Days of Our Lives. But these two women sell you on this feud that is so unrealistic. Like, everything that happens in the show is so unrealistic, but I buy in because these women, they have the chemistry, the dynamic. They are just so attracted to each other. They're like magnets. They're just being pulled together. But they are so bad for each other. They bring out the worst in each other. And that's my favorite kind of thing to watch, is whenever it's so character driven. I don't care about plot. Plot question mark. Who cares? Most plots are boring anyways. But whenever you give me two juicy characters who are just like have these messy dynamics, I'm seated. Give me 20 more
And
seasons
they're both
of
women.
Oh, women's stories matter. You know
Yeah.
that the facial blindness I have to the men, you are going to say so many men's names throughout this and reference, especially in season 2. I could not tell a man apart. It was really
That's
rough
fair.
for me. Poor Marcia Gay. She had to keep it all straight.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. But you give me women, I am seated. I am glued. I know what's going on.
Incredible. Oh my God. Wow. That's great. Well, how did this final season strike you before I give my thoughts?
So after rewatching all of this, I thought season 5 was really good. It felt like back to basics, what really works, and it's keeping the case a little bit more simple, because some of these storylines got a little too far, a little far from the
Unwieldy.
creators, that they
Yeah.
weren't able to really bring it home. I would say most of the time. I think the case that did the best was probably season 1, because they probably spent the most time on it. But I think this one really does come together in a way that I like, that the whole thing is Patty just manipulating everything to spend time with Ellen. That is just the theme of the season.
We've all been there.
We've all manipulated situations just to hang out with somebody. It's fine. Sure, we
Yeah.
got the...
This is what I do on my podcast.
Exactly. This is how we hang out. The only way we will.
Right. Yes,
no.
through manipulation.
Through manipulations. We get it. But I think this one actually did make the most sense, even though they don't tie up every loose end, which I don't think they necessarily need to, because the most important thing is Patty and Ellen to this. Whereas I think previous seasons, they did not exactly nail it. I will say, I do think season 4 is better than I remembered, because there's some really good acting. I just don't care about the whole... Yes, Zero Dark 30, like Hurt Locker, great movies. I don't need that as a TV series. I'm so sorry, men.
Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah. So for me, can't believe we're already at the end of the Damages era. This has been such a fun little journey going through this show that was so important to Glenn's career, and now we're coming to the end. I'm just going to come out and say, too, like, this season played much better for me than I remember it being. I definitely felt a little bit of the DirecTV step down in quality for season 4, but this felt like a bit of a return to form, and I think it's because there was such a focus on Patty and Ellen compared to season 4, which was so much more about the case. And like Seb was saying, I think on that episode, like, that season felt like John Goodman and Dylan Baker were like co-leads, if not outright leading the season at times. It felt like we had a much better balance of what viewers actually wanted to see and what the strengths have long been with the series, which is the Patty Ellen dynamic. That's what we're here for, let's be honest. And yeah, it feels like the writers really prioritized that and balanced the case in a way that it felt more like it really was a proper chess match of Patty and Ellen, to show how also this case kind of reflected their personalities and their relationship. And I actually think Glenn and Rose both are giving some of their best work in the entire series in this final season.
Oh, yeah.
Because the material they're given is just so much juicier for me. The way that they play the layers of being haunted by their past and all these hallucinations, and this obviously very toxic relationship they have, especially with how Ellen feels towards Patty, of kind of knowing she is a brilliant person and that she has learned so much from her, and she brings out a lot of killer instinct in Ellen that I think she really enjoys feeling. But then at the same time, it's like when that is turned around on her, it becomes very dangerous and toxic, and that it is ultimately very unhealthy for her to be around her.
Yes, and I like that because we've seen Ellen grow so much with and without Patty, like working with her, that they're on a closer to even playing ground, because I feel like Patty's always going to have the upper hand no matter what, because again, that's just experience and everything.
Her mind.
Yeah. But I do like that Ellen is just no nonsense about Patty and keeping her at arm's
Yes.
length, even like in their most intimate fights. I like that Ellen's like, no, you're not getting into my head. And then the moment she kind of does get into her head, it's like, you see Ellen regress in a beautiful way. And Rose Byrne is fantastic. These two women, I need them to make
Yes.
another thing together. But it is so interesting to see that this is where they get to from season 1, where Patty has tried to kill Ellen by the end. I'm deeply amused by it, and that Patty just wants... It seems like Patty just wants her friend this season. And that's kind of beautiful in a very psychotic way.
In a twisted way. Yes,
it is.
Right?
And like, this is one of the big Glenn projects. Like, when you announced your show, it's like Fatal Attraction, Dangerous Liaisons, 101 Dalmatians, this. I feel like those were the big 4 things that people were really looking forward to. And then this just really knocks it out of the park. I like being reminded just how great Glenn was from start to finish. The fact that she was not nominated and winning Emmys every single year for this is tragic. Sorry, Juliana Margulies and Claire Danes. I'm stealing the Emmys and giving them back to Glenn where they belong.
No.
You'll be fine.
This should have been like a Jean Smart, Julia Louis-Dreyfus kind of sweeping every season kind of thing.
This is what happens whenever you're not supported by your network, because you can tell that FX basically gives up on the show, doesn't support it. You can tell DirecTV 101 didn't know what they were doing. There's a reason why it doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's just, I love watching Ellen this season in particular, because it's that feeling I get of like Patty is almost like a drug to her, and like she knows she's bad for her, but to a certain extent, as with people who have maybe struggled with substance abuse may have felt while using, it's like partaking in it can be so intoxicating, and it can make you feel like, oh my god, this is like my true self, or it makes you feel at ease or whatever it is. It's like it's indulgent thing for her. And to see how far she can sort of stretch things within the confines of the law in order to win and play Patty's game against her, that is just such a fun dynamic. And I also think it's a great season for Patty, too, especially by the time we get to the end and we see just how eager she is to have Ellen under her wing, to mentor and maybe even like try to mold her into a better version of herself, and to be this very important sort of female figure mentor that Patty may have never had. And she just kind of wants Ellen to express her gratitude for Patty's mentorship. It reminds me of that hallucination dream that Patty had with Michael in the custody case in season 4. And she's just like wanting Michael to just be like, I love you, Mom. Thank you for raising me right. And like that kind of thing. That's what she wants, but for Ellen, her surrogate daughter.
Yes. And this is where I question
if I'm not interested in that.
I know. I question if Patty is actually a Pisces, because her ego is so big. She wants the praise. And I'm like, where are the fire placements in that? There are some Sagittarius in there, girl. You've got probably some Capricorn or Taurus really at the wheel, because you are so stubborn. And oh, she is wild, Patty Hewes. But I love that she has these like dream fantasy sequences that we see even up until the end. And it's just all about her ego. Yeah.
I love that you brought it back to Zodiac talk after
Scene
Sophia
1
did the same in season 1.
Yes.
It's all coming full circle. Yes. But yeah, and in Glenn's performance, I feel this like really kind of hungry sort of desire that is almost palpable from Patty to show Ellen that, like, you know, you're just like me. I'm just trying to, like, she almost wants to shake her to make her realize, like, you are like me, Ellen. You have to embrace, like, you have to come to the dark side where I am. And also almost a desire for, like, companionship, I would argue, from Ellen, and, like, a comfort in knowing that someone else is like her, especially a younger woman is like her, and she wants to kind of hold on to that. But as I said, what Patty wants and what other people want are often two very different things.
Oh, Patty, she can't ever get exactly what she wants, but also I feel like even if she were to be able to mold Ellen to be exactly what she wants, she would be so unsatisfied, because there would be no fight for it. It would be like, just like how she mentioned that one guy who got her through law school and she broke up with him. It's like he had no drive or anything.
Right.
And I think Patty wants the fight. like she even says in another season, I want to say it's like maybe season 3, I'm going to go look for a fight or something. Like she's just ready to go. She needs a sparring partner and Ellen's been that for her. Ellen doesn't seem to always want to fight though. Like she's the person, like these are the two paths. She could either keep fighting with Patty her whole life and become Patty, or she could have her own life and move on from everything that has happened with Patty, from the death of her boring ass fiance and everything, and just have her own life.
Right. So it's yeah, it really is. By the end, that is what it's about. And we will get to that, certainly exploring the choice of what Ellen does choose to do. And then for the case of this season, I think that is not for me as compelling as other cases. Like I do still prefer the Frobisher case from season 1, and the Tobin case, I think, from season 3, I think is great, just dramatically speaking. But Ryan Phillippe, I do really like, and he has a very different kind of energy that makes him feel less like the other sort of big bad male
he's
antagonist
not like
we've had in the past. It's a
toxic alpha male. He's a toxic beta.
Yeah. Well, yes,
in many ways.
Yes. Not saying he's a great guy by any means, but he definitely means well in a way more than other past baddies, you could say, and wants to do the right thing and has a moral code that, you know, he really tries not to break ever. It's more of his number 2, this Rutger guy, that's the real sort of big bad who's so slimy and someone I never trusted from the start. So when it's revealed that he's more involved in this than we think, it's like, well, yes.
He's such a deeply pathetic man. Like, so pathetic in so many scenes.
Yes.
And it's like, you've come so far since The Mummy, John Hannah.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of this kind of felt a little bit like reheating the nachos of season 4 and that dynamic of John Goodman and Dylan Baker, where it's like John Hannah's kind of a Dylan Baker sort of like being the number 2 who gets his hands dirty a little more and then eventually turns on the boss by the end of the season. It's like, I feel like this is a very similar trajectory that we just watched.
It's similar, but I think they do it better than season 4 does. I think if I'm going through all the cases, this is probably my 3rd favorite, because when I say I don't care about the season 2 case at all, I just care about our girls and Marcia Gay Harden being hot, because that case didn't make any damn sense, and it's okay to admit that.
It was all over the place.
All over the place, not very satisfying. But this case, I like that it did try to simplify it more than what season 4 did, because I think season 4 was trying to go a little too Zero Dark 30 on things, and they just did not have... Honestly, this was not the right show for that story. They did not have the infrastructure with DirecTV producing things. It just did not pan out very well. It was very low budget. It's still not my least favorite season, though. But yeah, I think I
think we've gathered that it's season 2.
Season 2 is a mess. I'm sorry.
We'll get to the season ranking later.
We will. Like, it's very wild, my ranking.
No, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
But this one, it felt a lot simpler, because it really did come down to Patty and Ellen playing cat and mouse. Patty, like, recommending Ellen as a lawyer and then scouting out her client just to set up this whole thing. And then just them back and forth manipulating people so they could keep fighting. That's why I really enjoyed this. Like, I could kind of ignore whatever the case flaws were, which they existed. And that's why I think this is one of the few seasons that could have been a little longer. It would have benefited from the 13 episodes if they really wanted to give the case and maybe some of the supporting characters a little bit more meat on the bone. But I'm overall satisfied for the most part.
Totally.
I do think the ending's quite rushed, though.
Well, yeah, certainly. But I think Ryan does a great job as this kind of like socially awkward yet slightly like oddly charismatic, like one of those young male genius types of the Edward Snowdens and the, you know, that kind of thing.
He's a misunderstood genius. He's very cute. And then you talk to him and he's very awkward. And it's fun to see, like, he's coded to be on the spectrum somehow, but it's in the very 2010s way where it was Big Bang Theory coded, or Community where Abed was very coded, and they're never going to really dig into it, which they could work on a lot now. But I like the way he portrays it. It's not over the top in many of the ways that it was during that time. And you do see that his moral code, as you said, he really does try to adhere to it. And I think that does align with the character very well, that he is so determined in doing exactly what he wants to do. And he's not like outright villainous in any way, but the people around him are almost enabling some bad things to happen in his name. And I think that is a very fun way to look at things versus season 4, where you have a similar dynamic with the two bad guys, but it's like, who's going to be the louder, weirder bad guy? Dylan Baker's going to ham it up like crazy, which that was...
He's having fun.
He was having fun. This was his fun one, his break from The Good Wife.
He did a silly one. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Jenna Elfman is very good too, even though every time I saw her, I only saw Kate Gosselin because of her haircut.
Yes, it was...
Shout out.
What a time.
Shout out to Kate Gosselin. I don't know if people even...
Do people even
like
remember?
Younger people even
Are they
know
old
Kate
like
Gosselin,
us?
but it's giving business in the front, party in the back.
Exactly.
Anyway.
It's very weird because I see Jenna Elfman, and because I'm old, I'm like, oh, Dharma and Greg. And
Dharma and Greg.
so it's nice to see her in a dramatic role. I do think her character falls into the damages. Like, they want to punish the slutty woman character, which they do with Marcia Gay Harden in series 2, which, like, I would have liked more of her character, I think, and maybe more of her dynamic with her daughter. I think those are the parts that could have been filled out more, because you see her daughter taking on more of it. And I'm like, is it because she was a more affordable actor? Was Jenna Elfman too expensive for them at the time? I don't know. But I almost wanted more of that character so we could see more of the motivations of all the evil stuff happening.
Yeah. And I will say, I hope he doesn't mind me outing this, but I was watching this with Seb, the premiere, and we noticed in the opening credits that only Glenn, Rose, and Ryan Phillippe were listed as main credited actors.
That's budget,
and he was
baby.
like very surprised.
Yeah.
Yes, he was surprised that Jenna Elfman was not in the credits, and then by the end of the episode, it's like, oh, okay, well, she's dead. By the end of the episode.
Hey, so was what's his face from season 1. He was in the opening credits, and you know what? We knew he would be dead by the end of the season, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But still.
We could have taken more away from him.
Yes. So I don't know if, for me, Jenna was like the 100% correct person for the role, but yeah, she's not bad. Janet McTeer fascinates me this season because I feel like she doesn't get really that much to do. Like, this feels very much like a favor for Glenn.
It's like, did Janet need to meet her health insurance minimum for SAG this year? That's what it gives.
Possibly.
At this point. And it's like, yes, you probably want to hang out with your friend and work with them. It'd be very cool. But also, she has almost nothing to do outside of kind of working for Ellen. And you would think being Patty's half-sister would be a bigger thing throughout the season.
Spoilers.
It's not. But then y'all mentioned the name Elizabeth Marvel to me. I think it was in reference to Disclosure Day. And here's the thing. We could have had Elizabeth Marvel in this role because her husband, Bill Camp, is in this season, and it would have made sense. And Elizabeth Marvel is a wonderful actress. She is not working for some horrible transphobic person, and now I get to make my Janet McTeer rest in piss joke because Janet McTeer, girl, what happened to your life? Does Glenn need to come have a talking to with you? Like, it's almost fitting that a horrible person now gets a boring role back then. But no, But she has like nothing to do, honestly, this season. We could have cut parts of that.
Yeah, if I may pour a little more salt in the wound with Janet McTeer, I'm sure you won't mind.
Do it.
I think, people had issue with Albert Nobbs and the whole, obviously there's a transgender component to that. That Glenn has always tried to sort of emphasize that this is a woman dressing as a man, and she sees the story very differently than how a lot of others see it. And for Janet to play a role like that, and then to go on to star in, a Harry Potter show.
Yeah.
It's just these things that, like, it's a bit of a pattern that makes me question things a little bit with Janet McTeer. Like, what's going on with gender things?
And this isn't an Albert Nobbs episode, but considering her character in Albert Nobbs seems a little bit more trans, we will say, because that movie's not going to apply the language to it. And then you're profiting off this transphobe who's just going to use the money to disenfranchise more transgender people. No. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, listeners, we had to get that out there because this character is a nothing. Put Elizabeth Marvel in the role, and this is an actress who knows how to come in, make a scene happen, and get out of there. She's so wonderful, so talented, and she was probably available because her husband was on set.
Yes, this could have been fixed so easily. Also, not to keep going at it, but like Janet McTeer in like the straight brunette hair just does not work for me. She should be having blonde curly hair.
I, again, could not pick her out of a lineup. Like, when she walks into this scene, I had just rewatched Albert Nobbs, like, for your show, and I'm, like, kind of giving her a funny look, because I know in my heart it's Janet McTeer, but I'm like, who is this? Who's this stranger? It's just another brunette woman, and I do have brunette facial blindness sometimes, as a brunette.
Sure. Yes, you can say that as a brunette.
I can say that.
Your people. I think we should lightly go through the season, starting with the fact that I want to talk more about these recurring dreams, which feels like so much more of a presence this season compared to any of the previous seasons. I mean, this whole thing with Patty going into her office and seeing Catherine sitting at her desk and just kind of just being like very innocent and everything, and Patty's just like, I need you to like get off the chair, and Catherine keeps saying, "You're not my mommy, you're no one's mommy," over and over. And then she just straight up screams at Catherine to get the fuck off with this like truly like ferocious sort of passion. Mind you, we also see a flash of a bloodied Ellen on the chair, so she's obviously still haunted by Ellen to a very disturbing degree. It's a lot. It is quite an image to start the season.
It is, especially when you add in the fact that as they keep going through these little nap terrors, as I'm going to call them, at some point Rose Byrne had to lip sync "You're Not My Mommy." And
or "I Love You, Mommy."
Or "I Love You, Mommy." And then like full bloody horror film like aesthetic going on with her. And it's just so weird. Somebody was having a little too much fun in the edit bay that day. They're like, we're just going to make this look silly, and we're going to put this in the promo maybe. We'll figure it out. I loved these little nap terrors, though, because just the imagery of Glenn yelling and cussing at a child, her granddaughter, even though it's so noticeably filmed in a way where the child was not present. I love it.
For the best.
I think Glenn it's almost like old school for her. Like, it's so easy for her to activate that, like, terror woman who could just like tear you down, but to see that activated against like a child is so fun. And I'm really glad they went there with this very campy sequence that just keeps recurring.
Yes. Tapping a little bit back into the Cruella de Vil,
we need it.
That energy. Yeah, that Glenergy. But it's also very funny, the scene where Channing goes to Patty in the hope of having her defend him and like provide legal protection should he go forward with like Naomi's info and leak it to the public. And I mean, he just like fully insults her to her face, saying she's an old woman who will soon be replaced by the new generation and that like she needs to stay relevant. And you can already see in Patty's eyes, like, bro, this ain't happening. Like, she senses right then and there, like, you are just one of these arrogant bullies and that this will not be a good match, and no interest in working with this man. Which, fair.
I mean, it does track for Patty because she's always like going up against these arrogant assholes like the Frobisher or whatever that company is in season 2, and then the Tobin family. It's really fun to see her go up against these people, especially when she's like scaring the crap out of John Goodman, which I think was amazing in season 4.
Amazing.
Great acting, story, sure. But just to see her be like, no. And I feel like she would almost judge this McLaren guy for not being a stronger man in her weird toxic masculine way, because Patty is a very toxic person that way when it comes to gender, that she does judge weak men. And she probably has clocked that, oh, he's a very weak man. We're not going to deal with him. But I would love to tear him down.
Right, that's the thing. She is much happier working against guys like this, whether they are alphas or betas. either way, they are so just like arrogant bullies to her.
It's insane
And
to me that Patty Hewes is straight, by the way. Like, the fact that she's just not a lesbian, we should just make that canon. Why not?
yeah, I don't understand. Not even like a hint of it at any point, really. I don't think.
I don't
But,
think so.
I mean, you're the one who just binge watched 4 seasons in
In
2
a
weeks. So
very
I don't,
unhealthy.
you may have,
Yeah. No, there's
you
like
may have
no
picked up on
hint of
something,
it.
but no.
But
No.
also, she
Yeah.
seems very asexual. So I am here to diagnose Patty.
Yes. Happy Pride Month. We are officially assigning you a sexuality. Patty Hewes. Anyway, eventually we have Channing reaching out to Ellen, of course, having been tipped off by Patty to contact Ellen, saying, oh, this is the best lawyer I know. But when he tells her that Patty is recommending her, that is when I think the wheels start turning, that if Ellen accepts, she will just be playing into Patty's game. And I feel like I would hope for Ellen's sake, by now, she would understand that chances are Patty is looking for a high stakes battle against Ellen in all of this. And I feel like there's something in Ellen that does innately understand that, but is also like challenge accepted at the same time.
I mean, again, I too would manufacture an entire spectacle because I was bored and I missed bullying a coworker I hate. Like, sometimes you have to do that. And Patty did that. And I think Ellen, in many ways, missed Patty and missed just fighting her, because sometimes fighting is a love language, and it is for them. And I get
their
it.
love language, and that's beautiful. No judgment.
No judgment. And did Ellen really think that Michael would be a better father to the child than Patty taking care of this child? I feel like, is Ellen just dodging this? Because the whole reason Patty is setting this up is so Ellen isn't able to testify in the custody case. That is the reason we're given. We know the real reasons, but it's like, Ellen, you just like playing with this person. She's dragging you back in. This is your addictions coming for you. And you gave in, girl. Good for you.
Right. Exactly. And so this is exactly what happens when we get the reveal that Naomi has died and that her death was staged as a suicide, but we see that she was in fact murdered by these 2 intruders. And Patty's now pursuing this wrongful death suit on behalf of Naomi's daughter, meaning she is now opposing Ellen in the case. It's all falling into place very quickly here. And I have to say, it is quite disturbing just how this kind of falls into her lap, especially with how Judd Hirsch, who is back this season, is kind of like her guy at this point, her new Uncle Pete, in a sense. Judd Hirsch just has like this stray comment about like how it would be just much easier if Naomi had killed herself, which would allow Patty to pursue the case against Channing on behalf of Naomi's daughter, who was much more willing to pursue legal action than Naomi was. So him kind of like casually saying that and then her ending up dead made me be like, what did Judd Hirsch do? Like briefly for a minute. Did he do that?
I am powerful, and sometimes I speak things into the air, like the Knicks winning, for instance. That was all me. Thank you. I don't watch basketball.
That is true.
I feel like, Judd Hirsch, you need to be careful with the power, because once it hits you, you don't know what's going to happen. You have to be very careful. And I think he did speak that into existence. So that death, it's on him.
Yeah, that is manifestation at work. The Secret, in a sense. So wasn't that big around that time, The Secret?
Oh my gosh, it was. Didn't Oprah get in on that shit too?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Oprah was always on the ground floor of some scheme and scam.
So Judd Hirsch tapping into that. I do not remember his character name. I'm just going to keep calling him Judd Hirsch.
I'm going to do that
himself.
with so many of the male actors.
Great.
And some of the women.
That's easier. Yes, that's fine. So I also want to briefly mention the whole flash forward device sequence as we get every season, which I really enjoyed this season. This almost like Lynchian style flashes to the future, like very ominous, with Patty being arrested, very much mirroring the flashes of season 1, and also notable because it looks like this was the same building that Ellen lived at in season 1 and that Patty's being like taken in for. So already right off the bat, it feels so much more effective and eerie, I think, than the season 4 teasers. And then we get the reveal, of course, of
And remember, Patty was
Ellen.
missing in those flash forwards in season 1, and now Ellen is missing. But then we cut to Ellen, and it's like, is she dead? Was she pushed off the top of this building? Who knows?
Yeah. What did you think of that? The inclusion of that? Actually, we could even talk about that in terms of like all of the different flash forwards of each season and where this falls for you too.
I really like these ones. This one does rank a lot higher for me because of the imagery of it mirroring season 1. I do think 1 and 5 probably did the best flash forwards, and then maybe
Definitely.
season 3 in there, especially with the Lily Tomlin stuff.
Yeah, with Tom and Lily Tomlin.
Yeah. But this I really like just because of how it paralleled so many different things, and that Patty was being interrogated by the same officers that Ellen was being interrogated by. And like Patty, like as you go along, she's learning like vital news about what's going on in her personal life as you get closer to the end of the season and you get to see Glenn. I'm like, where's her Emmys? Like just bucket of Emmys right there. It is so fun. And then I genuinely could not remember what was happening to Ellen in that point. I'm like, damn, what happened again? It's been quite a few years, Chelsea. Your brain's a little mushier now. So it was fun being able to rediscover. Like, I knew Ellen would be fine, but I'm like, what happened? How did she end up here? And I love forgetting things on a rewatch and being able to rediscover it and watch it for the first time, essentially, again.
That's what this felt like to me, too. So that was great. Yeah. I also wanted to briefly mention Patty's little stunt queen moment in episode 2 of serving Channing as he's giving this talk in front of an audience. Love that. Love whenever that happens, unless it's an awkward situation like Olivia Wilde and Jason Sudeikis, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh, yeah,
anyway,
that was messy.
Yes. In this case, I'm like, you go, Patty, in a way, but yeah.
We
Judd
only
Hirsch
cheer for women.
That's true. Judd Hirsch tells her that like she served him too soon, but Patty's just like, no, like the important thing is that Ellen's already lost control of her client. So it's sort of this like calculated risk to make sure that he actually stays in the country because there's a concern there. And the judge grants her a week to find a connection between Channing and Naomi that could prove some intent there. And I think this is where things perhaps get slightly far-fetched, you could say.
Maybe
I know that's crazy to talk about in the world of Damages, where Ellen notices from afar that Patty and the judge are kind of chummy and she's laughing at his jokes, which all of this is this orchestrated plan on Patty's part to make Ellen think that Patty is too cozy with the judge and therefore want to request a different judge. But it turns out the original judge was actually more biased in favor of Ellen than Patty, and that the new judge is actually kind of more of a friend to Patty in a sense. I find all of this very silly, but also I eat it up every time whenever Patty's doing her little orchestrations.
These are the little soap opera moments that you need, or else the TV is boring. Like, sorry, you need to spice things up. Does everybody actually believe Don Draper could get a new identity very easily and become a new man? No, that's a soap opera plot, guys. That literally happened in Days of Our Lives in the 60s.
Wow.
I know.
Maybe that was the inspiration.
Exactly.
Because it was 60s.
It probably was. Little Tommy Horton. But no, like, I love that Ellen does think she's so ahead. And it turns out Patty orchestrated all of that because Patty's pulling all the strings to make sure her and Ellen keep fighting. That is the whole thing. She wants to, like, really test Ellen. It's less about winning for her this season and more about, like, grooming this potential successor in many ways, like spiritually, because Ellen is rising up to every single challenge Patty curates for her. And it's very fun to see Patty just like watch Ellen and see how this all goes out and just see what move she's going to do next to mess with her.
Yeah. It is very much the Kris Jenner with the digital camera being like, you're doing great, sweetie.
Oh
like,
my
that's
gosh,
what's happening.
yes. All's fair realness.
Right? There you go. And then, yeah, I mean, like when Patty calls Ellen at the end of that episode, it's truly like a great sort of like psychopathic villain type of thing who's like taunting the police and is being like, good job, Ellen. You forced the judge out. You know, but then when she's like, perhaps it hasn't occurred to you that things aren't always what they seem. Paranoia does strong things, Ellen. It can make people believe things that aren't true.
This villain monologue is so fun. I love it. More villain monologues. Like, who cares about subtlety? This was so much fun. Who needs
realism? We want magic.
We want magic. We come to this place for magic, Kevin. Nicole Kidman told us.
I turn on my DirecTV for magic.
Yes, we do. I think I still have DirecTV today, oddly enough.
Oh, you have so many services.
I have all the services.
I'm so impressed. Anyway, it's interesting how we, of course, learn that Channing had, in fact, had contact with Naomi before her death, not once, but twice. And, you know, he has this, like, shake and go wig situation wherever he goes into a hotel and is meeting with various women, including Naomi here. And we're seeing this hotel surveillance footage, him meeting with Naomi. Finally, he fesses up to Ellen about how he met her, like, because she, like, had the jitters and he had to convince her, essentially. Either way, it's very shaky for Ellen because, as we know, Patty is prosecuting with a potentially great star witness in Naomi's daughter, and they just have this great sort of passive-aggressive meeting where they negotiate over how long Ellen can depose Rachel, Naomi's daughter, and just the way they talk about, like, you know, she seems to know a lot. What Ellen says to Patty when talking about Janet McTeer's character, indicating that, like, she might have possibly told her something, spilled a bit of info on Patty's past that Patty might not want her to know. There's just, like, this constant blending of, like, the professional and the personal within these scenes that I think is just so well written. So much better than, you know, the past few seasons, honestly.
Oh, it's so delicious. Like, maybe that's why this season ranks higher, is because it's so Patty Ellen focused, whereas they felt almost a little too apart in some of the earlier seasons. I like that because they're on this even ground and playing so much, and Ellen is able to manipulate Patty in ways like using her sister, not even knowing it's her sister, like the entire time, really. Like, that never really comes up or pays off, which I was a little disappointed in. But just the fact that she's there, and it does throw Patty off just slightly. Just enough for Patty to, like, have to think twice about certain things. Like, I do love, yes, we get the, oh, here's the perfect witness and the daughter and stuff. And that Ellen, because she's learned from Patty, she has learned, let's just look at all of these details really well. I am going to use this time so perfectly. We only have 20 minutes left in this deposition. It's fine. And then I'm going to tear you apart because we only have 20 minutes left and there's not much else you could do. And I'm going to untangle every lie that you have, like, sewn up together. And it is so delicious. It is so fun.
Yes, I believe you're talking about the whole thing with Ellen asking Naomi's daughter about phone calls.
Phone calls.
And this, like, supposed conversation that she and her mother had that fateful night that Naomi died. And she testifies that, oh, I had this whole conversation with my mother and all this. That didn't actually happen because the phone records indicate that the call only lasted 2 seconds.
Yep.
And
the daughter
Ellen then
created, like, at least a 20-second phone call. And I love that we're able to see Ellen really, like, hammer it just how much, like, how long it would have taken for them to have this conversation, repeating it word for word. It is so fun, especially whenever you have Patty's sister there with a timer. It is so petty as well, and I love a good petty moment.
Yes, petty against Patty. And Ellen is questioning, like, with this knowledge that she lied about this conversation, that how can we trust anything that you are testifying to about other conversations that you've had, which is very smart and very creative and a classic Patty maneuver. You know,
just let them tell all these lies over the course of these days and hours of deposition and then be like, so was everything else that we've talked about a lie too? I love it.
Random aside too, with a subplot here with Patty potentially being a Supreme Court justice nominee.
Would never happen.
Yeah.
No.
But this is Michael Gaston coming back, her old colleague, to inform her, oh, you're on the short list for the Supreme Court, which is like, okay, sure. She has a pretty solid record.
I was going to say, like she's not exactly worked in a judicial position. I don't think she's on the short list.
Yeah, but it's a cute
It's very cute. I wish they've maybe followed through with that plotline this season. It is also weird.
Would you feel safe under Supreme Court Justice Patty Hewes?
Oddly enough.
Would you feel your rights were protected?
Compared to where they are now, yes.
Yeah, I would take her in a heartbeat over at least 6 of the judges we have now.
At least 6, I will say. But yes, but just the fact that he's saying, hey, you're on the short list. Also, do you want to go out on a date in the same conversation?
Yes.
It takes me out. because I'm like, sir.
It took her out. She had like a big cackle in the restaurant.
I am Patty in that moment laughing in a man's face. This is how you know Patty's a lesbian. She is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm. This is a lesbian coded moment.
Yep.
This is also slightly a Cruella cackle that she's giving, I must say. Not to bring it back to Cruella.
Always
but
bring
that's
it back
what
to
I felt.
Cruella.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention another quick thing about another cameo of Lawrence O'Donnell. So, you know, we're moving on from Greta Van Susteren when we've moved on to MSNBC. From Fox News to MSNBC for Patty.
You know, the tides were already shifting in that time anyways.
It's true.
Again, with Fox News being slightly different than it is now.
Slightly. Yes, and Patty's publicly stating that Naomi died by suicide after this public shaming that happened and that Channing actually sexually assaulted her and had the power to ruin her life. And obviously this seems on the surface like, oh, Patty's just going rogue or something, but Ellen has to know that this is all a ploy after Patty's kind of been denied access to these servers that she needs to get to the bottom of who really leaked this information and such. And it is, because when they get before the judge, Patty is smart enough to know that he doesn't want this all playing out in the press and everything. So he issues a gag order on the both of them, which Ellen correctly assesses as Patty making an offensive move to silence Ellen so she can't give her account to the press.
Just Ellen realizing in real time what's going on in front of the judge.
Exactly.
The secondhand embarrassment I felt. I'm like, Ellen, no.
All those little face crack moments of being like, oh no, like you're being boxed into the corner on this chessboard here, in a sense. It's just great. And I feel like just, again, 5 seasons in, I still love these scenes so much when Patty and Ellen are just arguing things out and there are layers and layers of subtext beneath what they're saying and essentially like playing a poker game with each other, and like neither one of them knows exactly what cards the other one has, but there's like almost like a dry humor the way that they both approach it that I find really funny and so just well drawn of Ellen being so irritated with Patty's schemes and feeling like she knows her and what her moves will be, but she can never quite get one over on her. And there's
Not
like this
quite.
irritation that Rose plays so well. It's giving like Roadrunner.
And when she thinks she has got one over on her, it turns out Patty's got like a bunch of irons in the fire, and she's like, oh, you thought I was going to do this. I'm actually doing that. Ha-ha.
Right.
It's so silly.
It's tough. Also, I know we're kind of all over the place, but this season there's so much good stuff here.
Yeah, we've not even talked about the fact that Jenna Elfman did not actually kill herself.
No, that's true. I think I mentioned there was an intruder that staged it like that, but we'll find out very obviously at the end of the season what actually happened that I easily could have predicted. Anyway.
This is why it's case ?
Exactly, yeah. And I'll be honest, I wasn't paying as much attention when the case was happening compared to when Patty and Ellen were doing their thing. So
your eyes glazed over when somebody said Samurai 7 and Hacker. We're like,
completely was just like, I'm just going to go to my notes and write things down and not look at the screen. Anyway, I was going to say I love the business with Catherine and how she plays on Patty's computer and notices this little pop-up of a samurai with a sword, which is from Samurai 7, the Bill Camp hacker character. And Catherine clicks it and drags it into the recycling bin.
It is so funny, but also something a child would do. I don't know how many times a child has got a hold of my phone and I will look at it and there are like messages to people I have not talked to in years. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. A 4-year-old had this. Yeah. Nice day. But just the fact that she's not supposed to be on the computer, this like toddler managed to drag something to the recycle bin on the trash can and then goes around to her nanny and is like, I want a sword. And honestly, first, give Catherine a sword. It knows she's part of the Carly Rae Jepsen army. But also the fact that I loved Glenn having to interrogate this child, but in a very sweet way to where I'm like, maybe Glenn Patty should raise this child because we can talk about Michael in a bit. But it's like very sweet being like, yes, I wasn't supposed to be on this. I want the sword. It was in the computer. It's in the trash can now. And the babysitter fully confused No idea what's going on. Patty immediately figures it out, goes to the trash can folder on her computer, and at this point we know Patty does not love technology. There's a great scene later in the
Right.
season where Ellen has to help her with her phone, which
Adorable.
I also think might be a setup. Who knows? But it's so fun to see her like interact with this child and it actually be important to the case. I really do. I'm tickled
Yes.
by it. This great little
Yes.
child actress. I hope she had a nice time and got all the juice boxes she wanted.
Exactly. She did such a great job. Usually I'm annoyed with child actors in these shows that suddenly are introduced, and whenever it was Catherine, I'm like, I love this little girl.
Exactly.
She's so like blunt and just like there's something about the way she just stares at people that is just so funny to me. It's kind of funny how Catherine's little action there does have a little bit of an impact on how things are proceeding in this case, which will come back around later. But like even in the moment, like if Patty had opened this a few days earlier when the message actually first popped up from this hacker, like this case could have gone quite differently. Because we know Patty would have accepted this information he was offering in exchange for $500,000 that Samurai 7 was asking for to, give her a leg up over Ellen. But it's just very funny how I love whenever Damages does this little butterfly effect of one tiny little action,
just
can
the
lead
element
to
of
destruction.
time was so important to
Yes.
this case. It's like you have a week to prove your case. You have X amount of time to meet this hacker or else whatever. And the fact that, like, in this case, Patty does manage to get the information from the hacker. And Ellen, she loses her $500,000, but does not get the information because then the hacker, rest in peace, Bill Camp in this case, Samurai 7,
Yeah.
he goes bye-bye because they take him out. And the fact that Ellen knows Patty has this information, it becomes so important to the case of like, hey, how do we get this? How do we prove to a judge she has this?
Yeah, I was gagged by that, I will say. I was not expecting that to happen for poor Bill Camp.
The death count was really low at that point. They had to take somebody out. Damages,
true.
oddly
Yeah.
high death count for a show about lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and also always scared for dogs whenever they show up.
So scared.
general.
My dogs would not watch with me.
Not how could you? Yeah, exactly. Also, wait, I was actually wanted to know, I was fully frightened by the end of episode 4 by this nightmare that Patty has at the end with the same recurring setup that I mentioned where it's like she's in her office and talking to Ellen now, who is saying, I love you, mommy, to her, and she's still bloody. And it becomes like demonic, and like the camera gets all herky jerky. And I was like,
Why does
when
it
did
feel
this
like
become a haunted house
This
story?
is The Exorcist at some point.
Right.
I wanted to
Yes.
be in the ADR room where Rose Byrne has to like lip sync for all of this. What is going on? It is so
Yes.
silly and campy. Like, you thought it was funny in the beginning of the season. Right here is where it really peaks because it's fully bloody Rose Byrne, like flashing lights. And it's just hearing Catherine's voice saying, I love you, mommy, coming out of Rose is so funny.
I know.
This show is camp.
It's quite silly. It's Bill Camp.
Bill
you could
Camp.
say.
We love Bill Camp.
Yes. I also fully forgot that Victor Garber was in this final season. I don't know about you.
My note,
But-
Victor Garber really shows up and does nothing.
Yeah, he showed up and collected a paycheck. He's the CEO of this company
Princefield.
that Jenna
It's
Elfman
allegedly
was.
is what it's called.
Yes. But his character name is Bennett Harrishoff, another great businessman name that the writers have come up with here, where it's just like a series of syllables. But he provides a very interesting wrinkle in all this because Bennett had been like conducting this internal investigation into Naomi and may have had key information here. And I love how Patty basically threatens him directly with the info she's acquired from the Samurai 7 leak and gets him to reveal that he's been cooperating with the SEC and that they were investigating themselves. And that leads Patty to an SEC official. And she learns from him that the SEC knew that there was insider trading happening on Naomi's part and that she was engaging in it before she blew the whistle, but didn't do anything. The SEC didn't do anything about this because they were still investigating her. And so
Allegedly
Patty even,
still
like-
investigating is what I say. Because they knew about this for,
Well,
what, a
there you go.
year?
Exactly. And they sat on it. Yeah. And so, kind of is threatening him that if he doesn't give her more information about this Naomi investigation, that she'll just go ahead and send out a press release detailing how SEC had all this information but didn't act on it, and like knowing that this would destroy their reputation a little bit. I just love the reason I even mention this is that she is so cold and brutal, but does all of this with like this little smile.
It's like a
ultimately.
little smile, and like as these people are almost about to call her bluff, she is on her phone. Please bring me a BlackBerry. I think it would heal me. And it's like, nope, I'm just going to tell my friend at the New York Times, as if she's just ordering a coffee. Like, that's the level of importance this is to her. And that they're terrified of her because she is so blasé about everything. And it looks like she's about to contact her friend. And they're like, wait. Okay. If I do this for you, provide you whatever these servers are, will you not tell people? And she's like, all right, I guess so, for now.
I suppose. Yes.
And you just know Patty will backstab, which, good for her.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing bad things.
Good for her. And we also are getting this fascinating development in the middle of all this of Janet McTeer's character coming to Patty with the news that some man that we don't know yet the identity of is dying, and that Kate is kind of like representing him, and that Patty should meet with him to like tie some things up. This turns out to be another great character actor, Emmett Walsh.
Yep.
Who is playing Lyle Hewes. Hint, hint. This is Patty's father. So, I mean, I will say, casting an actor of Emmett Walsh, having someone like that in this role is sort of like, okay, well, this is definitely a very important person in all of this.
Oh, yeah.
And I
it's
correctly assessed that this is her
character
father.
actor, we are here. It did make me wish, like, okay, we went down the rabbit hole and we were texting, which Albert Nobbs co-star would you have liked to have seen on Damages? I think we both settled on Pauline Collins. Imagine Pauline Collins also being in this family dynamic. I think it would have been a bit more interesting. Or even Mia Wasikowska, blah, 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 as the client's daughter. Bring the Albert Nobbs in. But I do think, like, if you cast very interesting character actors, like, Emmett Walsh did not have a lot to do, but his scenes did leave an impact. Like, did it add up to anything in the end? Probably not. But I did like just that layering of the character and getting more of Patty's backstory and how he had such an influence on Patty and how hard she is and how cold and unforgiving. Right. But you almost don't blame Patty because you see just how awful he is and that all he cares about is some piece of land, to the point he's trying to recruit his grandson and be like, hey, I'm grandpa. Get her to sign this, by the way. And that's all he cares about. And it's so fun to see. It's like, oh, Patty is very similar to this man, but is also fighting men like him throughout her whole career.
Right. And yeah, I was just going to say he is serving in silence in a way here. Like, he has such impact just in his screen presence alone, but you can absolutely see the years and years of history between them.
And just the fact that,
Patty
like, he is
around.
Dying for sure. His little air tank and him struggling to breathe, but being the most hateful man you've ever seen. It really creates a character so quickly.
Yeah. So eventually, as we get to the second half of the season, we have this new potential witness in the form of Thomas Weld, who was found to have stayed right next door to Naomi and Channing at the hotel. And he's testifying to the fact that, oh, maybe there was like some big sexual assault happening next door. And all of this leads to bad news for Ellen and Patty, with how Ellen is feeling a certain type of way about how Channing now just wants to settle in all this. And both of their clients are getting kind of antsy about everything, but Patty and Ellen still want this war to go on, essentially. So when it's revealed that they kind of mutually agreed on this decision to have this man give that testimony, intentionally lying, in a sense, in order to persuade Rachel to not drop her settlement, which she has been flirting with that idea. I think it's kind of electrifying because they're both thinking so many steps ahead now, not just Patty, you know, and she's finding that the best way to go about this is to align whenever it is beneficial to both of them and then just go in for the kill later. It's just it's like great Survivor play.
It is
in a
so
sense.
fun. Imagine them on Survivor. They are Suri and Parvati. Oh, but
Wow.
just to see,
Yes.
like, Ellen blackmailing this man who's probably just having an affair, and
Yeah.
Patty totally agreeing to this, and like them like forging documents saying that you had a noise disturbance next door. You filed that with the hotel. Whenever you've seen earlier that Patty's sister Kate seems a little chummy, seems to be talking to the hotel people. I like that they literally just want to keep fighting, so they're manipulating their clients and doing deeply unethical stuff instead of just settling, which is what both the clients want to do, and just move past things. No, they want to fight. They want to take this to court. They want a real gladiators battle right here. So we are just going to ruin these people's lives a smidge more to take out our personal business on each other.
Right. Whatever happened to fun? That's what they're saying.
Girls just want to
know?
have fun.
Exactly. Girls just want to battle it out in court. What's so wrong about that? So I also want to touch on the 7th episode, which is, I would call the Maine episode, where they go up to Maine, because I was living throughout this felt like a bottle episode.
It was delicious. Our two girls getting like snowed in at an airport together. My goodness. I needed like 5 episodes of just this.
Right. So for context, this is where they have gone up to speak to some computer science expert who can provide info about Naomi's stuff. And he reveals that like her info was hacked by a true hacking expert. So they get that info, but then there's this snowstorm which traps them at the airport together. And I mean, truly just watching them be cooped up and like lightly getting on each other's nerves, I was living. And Glenn plays it so well. Her kind of like casually snide comments at Ellen. And there's also kind of a looseness to Patty that we don't usually see. Like she really enjoys sort of poking the bear in a sense. But there's something a little, sloppier in her body language that can sort of communicate that she has been drinking a little more lately, which we see throughout the season of her kind of probably trying to cope with her horrible dreams, I would imagine, and just constantly thinking about these things. So I think there's some intentional show not tell happening here, too, of her getting a little loosened up with Ellen and getting a little sentimental even with her, just being like, Ellen, we understand each other. Maybe our paths were meant to cross.
It's very that, like, Ellen is trying to mind her business because she's like, no, we're not friends right now. Meanwhile, Patty's like, hey, they gave me like 2 cheese crackers out of the vending machine when I paid for one. Would you like one? You sure? You don't want this? You have a power bar? Oh, you're so prepared. I'm going to flatter you. Also, will you help me break into the airport bar? It's closed and they're not serving anymore. Let's just do this. Them trying to pretend like they're not stealing booze at the airport is so funny. This is their bridesmaids moment.
Yes.
And then just like Patty slowly finding reasons to talk to Ellen, like with the phone saying, I don't know how to get out of here. It's like, Patty, you've had this phone. Are you just looking for reasons, making up excuses, pretending to be old and not understand technology just to have Ellen help you with something? It feels like it. And then the moment they start like talking more about their family, like Ellen opening up about like her parents like divorcing and her dad just being a jerk, and Patty trying to bond over that because, we've seen her dad. Her dad's the worst. Yeah. I love that Ellen is like, yes, drawn in, but not taking her shit. And then it just leads to that explosive moment for us where we're just like, oh, yes, we've been waiting for this.
Yeah, it's just delicious actressing, I would say.
Yes.
This whole second half of this episode of, it's sort of like, hey, Ellen, like if you admit everything you know about me, you'll also have to implicate yourself in a lot of our schemes when they're talking about the custody battle. And she even gaslights Ellen by saying like she actually wasn't telling the truth back in the season 2 finale when she confessed to trying to get Ellen killed.
It's like
Patty's just like, oh, I was just trying to sort of like
tell you what you
calm
want to
the
hear.
situation down. Right.
You
exactly.
had a gun on me. What was I supposed to say? And just how that rattles Ellen. And I think Rose Byrne plays that so beautifully because you see that doubt in there, like,
Right.
because the part of her that is just so attracted to Patty's personality and keeps her around, it's like, maybe she's not lying to me, and then she has to just remind herself, no, Patty does bad things, like, outside of that even. Like, even just in the previous season. So it's so fun to see them, like, Patty trying to lure her in and Ellen just trying to fight it, but not always winning.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is
And
beautiful. I could have watched so much more of that, but, you know.
yes. She even says that it's possible that Uncle Pete may have acted on his own in order to protect Patty.
See, Patty, that's where you're slipping up. That's where the booze was flowing a little too much in you, because you would never give that up. You would never throw somebody under the bus like that. You're not messy like that. So maybe you are getting a little too boozy.
Yes, very rich for her to say when Pete is not there to defend himself, of course.
Exactly.
He's
Which that becomes
long
important
dead.
pretty soon.
Yes. Yes. I think it's one of the best written and best performed scenes in the entire series. I wish I could, like you said, just like bottle this up and just like watch it over and over again. It just says everything about Patty's ruthlessness and her ability to lie and to just get out of things and just like bob and weave her way through a conversation.
We also forget Patty was stabbed right before the conversation in season 2. So you do wonder, like, what Patty actually meant in that, because she is obviously stabbed and in horrific pain. So she might have just said anything to get her out of there. And maybe that's how Patty justifies it to herself, that she was just saying anything to get Ellen to let her go. But who knows? Patty can twist any words to make herself seem correct. And she probably is.
Yeah. And we should believe her.
We should. Believe women.
Believe women, especially Patty Hewes.
Always Patty Hewes.
But Ellen decides to go to Uncle Pete's widow. Nice to see her again, the great Lynn Cohen.
Oh, delighted.
Yes, but sadly she says she can't really help her uncover, like, because Ellen has been having these like visions of the man who tried to kill her, who's Patrick, back in season 1. You know, as with everything on this show, though, the show has trained us to never think of anything as out of place or as a dead end. And so, of course, the widow calls the man, Patrick, that Ellen was asking about, who tried to kill her all those years ago, and warns him, which I was very disappointed in Lynn Cohen in this moment. But
if only she knew that this Patrick is the one who actually killed her dear Pete. If only she knew, she would not be giving him this warning.
Exactly. And how can he live with himself?
Yeah, now he's supposedly a reformed man with a wife and a baby. Like, sure. I don't believe men.
Nope.
Believe women.
Don't believe men. Believe women, especially Patty Hewes. That's the lesson for this episode for the folks at home.
Yep.
But, I mean, I would love to know your thoughts on that plot line of Ellen putting the pieces together a little bit, finally, and being able to just, you know, get this going for herself.
It really is funny because, like, she's given all this evidence from the police officers pretty early on in the season of, like, the case. Yeah. And, like, it's very unethical what these officers are doing. They're not supposed to do that. Like, there's bloody evidence right there.
It's fine. They're all friends.
They're all buddies and pals.
They're like, hey, Ellen, good to see you again.
And what really throws me off is the business card that apparently seems to be the key to everything. The police did not test that for DNA back in the day to see whose blood it was.
Right. That's where I was like, did I miss something?
They
here?
missed
like,
that episode of CSI. But fully Ellen being like, hey, can you run this blood and see if it's a match to anybody? And that's when they bring up the Patrick guy and his little petty crimes and see that he's gone. Eventually, he's like called back to New York from Lynn Cohen and everything. And whenever he does eventually meet up, because Ellen's like, I don't know, her detective guy, who's very cute, by the way. Forget that actor's name, but he's super cute. He's like tracking this guy because the guy is following Ellen. It's like a whole like Scooby-Doo who's following who. But eventually they do meet up and Ellen blackmails him saying, hey, you need to testify that Patty tried to have me killed and that she hired you to do it, or these police officers here are going to arrest you. But if not, my friends in the DA office, because I work there in season 3, they will get you a deal to get you off murder for a custody case. That's not how this works, y'all. I've watched a lot of legal shows. But that's how it's gonna work now. And they even go so far as to have the Patrick guy meet with Patty, and he's wearing a wire, so they get it all recorded. And
of course,
listen, not great for Michael in the end. But this is the very silly Billy part of it. It's like, you really don't try to connect the dots too much. This is more of a collage of ideas coming together.
That's how I feel watching this. I'm just letting it wash over me.
You're like listening to me say this, and it's like, technically this all happened and it makes no sense.
Yes, these are events that did in fact happen and they led to this event. Is there logic behind that? Who's to say?
Yeah.
But
it all comes up with a recording, and they're all supposed to meet at Ellen's office at some point. Sure.
Yeah. But I also wanted to mention, like, Ellen is straight up pulling a gun when she corners Patrick at one point. This is also, I believe, in the same episode that we have this whole subplot of Ellen's mother, who has left her father.
Good for Denise.
Because
Deborah Monk.
He's a jerk.
He is awful.
Yes. And he comes around and is like threatening them and needing her to come home and just like insulting poor Deborah Monk.
Just
in so many
calling
horrific
her
ways.
all the most horrendous names, making fun of her body, saying she's a horrible wife for wanting to get a divorce. And like, you can tell he was probably physically abusive and just not just throwing things. But honestly, my notes. Good for Ellen's mom for getting a divorce. Ellen calling out her dad was thrilling. Hold that gun to him, baby girl. Listen, he needed a little reality check. Because we know Ellen is good with a gun. We saw her and Timothy Oliphant. Oh, what a man. The hottest man in this show. She could fix him.
Yes. I was just going to mention, like, the fact that she pulls a gun on her own father, like, hardcore and very, very Patty Hewes-esque, and showing their bond and their horrible fathers and families. But I was just going to mention in my notes, I have, like, I would love to see Rose in vigilante mode in, like, a movie. Would love to see her in, like, a John Wick type of film.
Oh, she'd slay.
She's very convincing.
She really is. She can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
But yeah, of course, she interrogates Patrick about who hired him all those years ago to kill her, and he admits it is, in fact, Patty Hewes. And the final scene before the finale, I was thrilled by. I was on the edge of my seat watching, of Ellen arriving at Patty's office, ostensibly to confront her, but Patty brings up the conversation they had in Maine about Patty's admission to having her killed, and Patty's kind of apologizing for being kind of insensitive or being flippant about it, of being like, oh, all this time, I didn't know you had these feelings towards me that you thought I really did have you killed. I was just bluffing. And just doing that whole act. Like, she's apologizing for being so flippant in that way. She was just surprised, that's all. And Patty then says she has a premonition that, quote, this is the last time you'll ever set foot in this office.
I mean...
To which Ellen says, maybe, you never know. Television excellence.
Excellence. It's one of those, like... In 20 years, if they were ever to have like a Damages sequel show starring Rose Byrne, I would want this to be one of the flashbacks.
Yes. Oh my God. Ugh, I get chills just thinking about it. I think this whole series finale needs its own segment here because there is so much to say.
It really does, because it does feel like there's a part 1, part 2 aspect to it.
Part 1, part 2, part 3.
That is true.
Has like little title cards throughout. I do not know why those are there.
And honestly, I wasn't paying too much attention to them because I'm like, I think we could separate this very differently. But okay.
Yeah. But it opens with a vision of Patty's father just accosting her. This is one of her mental hallucinations about like whatever happened to her poor little baby, which she tells him she was stillborn, and then she looks over and sees Ellen wielding a shotgun and aiming it at her, and Catherine is also locked outside wanting to come in. It is a full mess what is going on in Patty's mind right now. It's all a jumble. Meanwhile, in reality, Ellen is getting tested at the doctor, who tells her, you are very sick. Like, your immune system is depleted, you are anemic, just goes on a whole laundry list of everything that's wrong with her and that she desperately needs rest. So, like, truly, they are both in a really rough state as they're going into
And
this
if you are a
trial, which I
person
love.
who knows like 2 or 3 things what that doctor was saying, you clocked it immediately. But also, if you were watching this show from season 1 and knew Patty Hewes' greatest fear, you knew exactly what was happening.
This is true. These writers pay attention. Yeah, and so Ellen is sort of crossing a bit of an ethical line, too, after the government threatens to throw Channing in jail unless he gives over his source in the military leak, which is another subplot here where Chris Messina is back as Ellen's boyfriend, and he has gone to Channing with his own leaks about what the military has done to people with PTSD. But, you know, the guy doesn't want to do that, but Ellen leaks his name anyway in order to protect Channing and
Her
feeling
client.
like Chris will understand in time. Yes. I would say this is definitely one of her most aggressively Patty moves here. Naturally, they do fight about it later, and she admits to him that, yes, it does matter to her that she wins and that she's devoted her life to this. But he is also important to her, too.
I am so happy that Ellen stood up for herself with Chris because
Yes.
she does care about her job and how hard she's worked to get there. Her job matters. This growth really matters because David in season 1, her shit-ass fiance, who I was not sad to see die, he was on her all the time about her job, making it seem like his was more important, even though he was like totally being bamboozled by this crazy lady. Like, he was such a fucking idiot. Like,
Yeah.
who gets their keys stolen like that, bro? No, you're an idiot. But I do like to think that Chris internalized that and realized that he is not the center of the world. Ellen is the center of her own world. And yes, she does love him too, but also the guy knew the risk in leaking the information. Like, also, Channing is her client. So unless the other guy pays a retainer, sorry, that is just how it pans out. And it does suck, but it is the truth.
It's just a necessary evil, you could say. So then eventually it is time for the trial, and we learn that Rutger, who has now tried to be a turncoat on Channing, has actually fled the country, so it seems, so that he can no longer testify, which is quite a gag for Patty, at least as we see it at the time. And there is kind of a funny sort of anticlimactic moment here, because Patty truly is like, I have no case without Rutger. And we get a great shot of her later, like drinking in the dark, alone in her office. It gave a little bit of the ending of Dangerous Liaisons to me, like someone who seems like they're truly like humbled in a way, and you're like, oh wow, did Ellen really just get one over on Patty in the end? And that's it? Is she really out of moves? And also it just like wraps up so quickly, so it is very much like, oh, that's it. Okay,
You think
the
that's
end
it.
of the case. It's just, but in reality, I don't know that I actually thought that's it, because I've been watching 5 seasons of Damages and I understand that this show has taught me how to watch it.
And that there was so much runtime left in the episode. Sorry, my dog is just awake and he has thoughts on Patty Hewes. But no, I do love that. Like, we see this whole sequence of events that literally just shows that Rutger, he's the bad guy. He's the one who had Jenna Elfman killed. He was really gross to Gita. The one girl who's just hanging out and works for Channing, sort of, but they're also hooking up.
Right.
Sure, she was like not a real character. She deserved more.
No.
But you just see this man who was ready to turn on everybody because he wanted the credit, because he's such a tiny man and like just doing the work wasn't enough. He wanted to be the face of everything as well. And just the fact that I love that Patty does get one over on Ellen, because Ellen takes this information about this man, is ready to like go for it. And it turns out that's what gets him killed. And Ellen probably knew it would get him killed. Everyone knew it. I don't think they feel bad because he kind of sucks, but still.
Right.
Ellen is just as bad as Patty.
And that is what Patty has been trying to tell Ellen all this time.
So, in a way, Patty did win. She got what she wanted.
Yeah.
She didn't care about this idiot twit who's lying about what happened when her mom died, Turns out Channing
No.
had no idea what was going on. He just hooked up with Jenna Elfman a couple times.
Right. So she even admits as much, like, this case did not matter to me at all. Like, this was all about just kind of testing you in the end.
Again, who else would create such a spectacle just to bully her, like, work nemesis?
Yeah.
I just want to spend time with
I
my
was
work
gonna
nemesis and bully them a little.
Before you said work nemesis, I was almost going to be like, this is actually quite a romantic gesture.
In many ways, it could be seen like that. Like,
Yeah.
it is a toxic romantic.
It's their love language.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is like, again, the Wario of Deborah Vance. Can't even get through that sentence. This is the Wario of Hacks, though, and I love it.
Very that. Yes. Do I now wish that we did have one episode where Patty and Ellen had to pretend to be lovers? Perhaps.
I mean,
but
they could do
It's not this show.
They could do it, I believe.
Yeah, and so Glenn, though, I think has an amazing scene when Patty visits her father in the finale.
Yes.
And she tells him, oh, you know what? I'm just going to sell your land to the lowest bidder. And she tells him, you did everything you could to crush me, and how she thought he deserved to go to hell for his brutality, and that he terrorized her and her family for years. And when she says, Mama never judged you, but I will, I mean, chills.
Chills. When she says, I will give this land to the first person with a penny, I was like, hell yeah, get it, girl. Because the whole time, like, her dad is trying to, like, seduce Michael into getting her to sign over her part of the land. And, like, to an extent, Kate, the sister, kind of trying to do the same. But none of it works because, again, Patty Hewes is way smarter than all these idiots. She's not going to get anything over on her. No.
Yeah, I mean, and she tells him there's no forgiveness for him, no mercy, only death. I mean, this is one of those scenes where I'm like, how can you not be a stan of Glenn Close?
She is so good.
The quiet rage that she is communicating from a lifetime of carrying this trauma is so raw, and the venom and the disgust in her eyes, it took my breath away watching her in this scene.
And this is why I think she would be the best version of, like, the evil master character in Doctor Who, because you do need that quiet rage sometimes. You have to be able to do the Looney Tunery of it all, but just have that simmering rage that you could do anything violent at any point. And you know what, Patty? I support you, because this man was awful. He does not deserve any grace. Some people just don't.
No, absolutely not. But I love how the finale builds and builds to the point that you really wonder if Patty might have actually had Ellen killed after all. And it's perfectly within reason that could be the avenue we go with this, based on just how desperate she's become to maintain custody of Catherine and to hold on to her career and her whole reputation. Hell, maybe she's even entertaining the Supreme Court nomination here too.
Maybe.
And it's like, you know, she might be left with nothing if Ellen testifies in all this. And then we finally get to those future scenes that have been teased throughout the season of Patty being taken down to the station for questioning about Ellen's disappearance, and the shots of Ellen seemingly dead on the street. And it is an amazing reveal, even though it's predictable, that Ellen being told by her doctor that she is actually having a baby, that there's a baby on the way, and that her being so sick actually
she's
led to
anemic.
her
She needs to take some vitamins,
passing
get some
out.
rest.
She passed out on the street. Yeah, and she's just lying there unconscious. I mean, that for me, if I may say, was a bit of a soap opera level reveal to me, this whole sequence.
I will say, my nephew did bump his head the week he was here between my damaged season watches, and heads just be bleeding, y'all. His mom's a nurse, and she's like, no, it's fine. It's just going to bleed a lot, but he's fine where he fell. And I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. The bodies are weird.
Yeah.
It is soap opera, but I don't care.
Yeah. No, it's a complimentary, to be clear.
And I love that it does cause Ellen just not taking care of herself because she's pregnant. Causes a chain reaction between that and Michael just being a dumb bitch, getting Michael killed.
Yeah.
Because why would you have the man who tried to kill you meet you at your office with your, with Michael, who's not even your client? He's just somebody you're testifying for. And then it's just them two, your detective and you're supposed to go over to the courthouse. That doesn't make any sense, because next thing you know, Michael is a dumb bitch. Like, Ellen's missing. They're looking for her. And the guy Patrick, he's like, no, I'm out. I got to get out of here if somebody thinks
I have my deal for immunity already. I don't have any reason to help you.
yeah, exactly. And then Michael, dumb bitch, is like, no, I heard the recording. I know what you did. And it's just like, boom, you got yourself killed because you run your mouth. You are not Patty Hewes' child. Ellen is the child she always wanted. Period. Like, also, I don't care that Michael wanted custody of a kid that he abandoned so he could become a drug dealer in a different state. I do not think that man should be allowed to raise a child after that. No.
I agree. Fully on Patty's side.
Fully on Patty's side because Patty stepped up.
Yeah, she was the parent who stepped up.
Exactly. So, Catherine seemed pretty fine, well-adjusted, maybe a little quiet, but who cares? She cared for her through health crises in season 4. No.
Right.
I am here. Exactly. I am Patty's defense attorney.
Clearly, yes. Yeah, and so by the end, we of course have our requisite scene by the water, as we do at the end of every season, of Patty just admitting that winning the case meant nothing to her, that she just wanted to see what Ellen was really made of.
The way they filmed that, though, was very odd. It felt like maybe it was a green screen.
It did feel like green screen. I was gonna,
that part was distracting.
Yeah. A little bit. Just the close-ups and the backgrounds felt a little off. But we get the flashback to the Channing case, and Patty admits she intentionally told Ellen about Rutger being on her side now to see what Ellen would do, as you were mentioning. And it's clear from Ellen informing people about all this that they were going to do something drastic to Rutger, which is what he did. They did get Rutger killed. And so Patty feels very satisfied that she feels like, hey, Ellen really has proven herself to be her proper successor maybe, or protege, and just is doing what it takes to win. And again, Ellen is just another one of those God damn it, not again.
Yeah. She's like, I'm out. I can't. Yes. I will say just the fact that in those flashes we see whenever Patty is in the police interrogation and they come to give her the update about what happened to Michael, and they turn the noise off, where they can't hear it, and you just see Glenn silently react to the news that her son is dead. Yes. Just seeing Glenn again dump the Emmys on her front lawn at that point, just decorate her house a Christmas tree full, because just her face is oh, that's Glenn Close. She's a better actress than most people will ever be. Nobody else could really sell that she would have this emotion for the child she low-key hated and never wanted, but is still devastated is gone.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. That is such a great scene for her to
It's one of the highlights.
Processing.
That, again, sorry, Claire Danes, sorry, Juliana Margulies. I'm sure one of you won those Emmys, but no, those aren't yours. Yes.
But we get our little coda here at the end, a few years from now, it says on the text. We have Patty in a great, gorgeous white coat and a fierce new pixie cut. Love this look. She's a little bit giving supervillain at this point, to be honest, but yes. I love it. But she happens upon Ellen at a little coffee shop, I think is where they are, and notices Ellen now has a child, in fact, and seems quite satisfied, I would say, with her life, Ellen, at this point. And then there is a very interesting little role reversal here, or a reveal of Ellen knocking on Patty's limo window and just being like, hello, Patty. I just wanted to finally thank you. I'm really grateful for everything. And, Patty's like, you're welcome. But of course, this is not real. This turns out to be her imagination. Once again, this is what she wants at the end of the day, is just someone to express gratitude for the hard choices that she's made in her life. And yet here she is at the end of it all, and Ellen will probably never thank her for anything and will not want to really see her again. And she is just kind of left alone at the end of this in a limo and just sitting there stone-faced.
And it's back to the office.
Yeah, back to the office, and a kind of bleak expression on her face by the end, I would say.
Yeah.
This part also feels like Perfectly Dangerous Liaisons kind of ending, as she just sits there, and we're meant to kind of sit with the cost of everything that she's done. It's Shakespearean.
It really is. Like, we don't need to know what happened with Catherine. We don't need to know what happened with the
I
Supreme
don't care.
Court. It doesn't matter
No.
because we just know in this life that Patty is probably alone. She's run out of people to fight with.
Yep.
And like, what does she have left? Like, maybe her granddaughter? Maybe, but you know that child's going to grow up with issues, of course. All children do. And it's just so sad. And I do think it's hilarious. Like, we get Ellen's perspective on this, and her daughter's like, who's that? Like, a very childlike thing. Great child like casting for that, by the way. And she's like, just somebody when mommy was a lawyer back then. And I do like that that's kind of where she leaves it. Like, no, let's just go see your dad at the VA hospital. And I love that, like, Ellen's last scene with Chris is them fighting, and now they have a child together. It's like, okay, they must have had to work something out if she kept this child.
They kissed and made up. Yes.
They kissed and made up. Also, Chris Messina, like, you're so beautiful. My goodness. I get it, Ellen. You fixed him. You are not going to let him go.
She really did.
She did. She put so much work into that man. She can't let him go.
Exactly. And you know, the whole thing with Wes, like, that was the one that got away, and she's like, I've learned from this, and now I'm going to apply these lessons to Chris.
She's the first one she fixed, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to apply these lessons to this little sweetie pie over here who's probably slightly better for me, and we're just going to go for it. I think they would make a great throuple, personally.
Hot. Yes. So... did you have any other ancillary observations that we did not get to? I'm sure you have deranged notes or two.
Always so many deranged notes. Feel free to cut some of these because, like, just even the random background TV was talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and it took me out of the scene. Yeah. And I was like, that was pretty jarring. Not so sure about that. And then I do think this did need a few more episodes just to, like, really massage the case because it does feel a little light in that area that we don't really care about what happens or anything. Yes, this is about Patty and Ellen, but I wanted a little bit more of that. And then I do have to give Rose Byrne her flowers because just the way she talks about, like, this was her being when I used to be a lawyer, you imagine she's probably some sort of stay-at-home mom situation, even though, like, I have questions financially because she was paying for her apartment, her mom's, and her sister's. Like, she was the person taking care of her entire family. So I have some deep questions about that. I do.
Yeah.
But
she has savings, hopefully.
But Kevin, I have a question for you. Do you think Ellen had regrets in doing that, in giving up her life?
In some late nights, I'm sure she still thinks about it. I do. I do. But I think at the end of this, she really is just like, I cannot even associate with the law at this point because it is too painful to think about what I've seen. She has seen multiple dead bodies. Let's talk about that. And has, like, experienced, like, almost dying in the street and, like, all of these things as a result of the legal profession.
Do you think she saw more dead bodies after this?
I hope not.
There was a lot of dead bodies, y'all. Like,
yeah.
Michael was killed in her office. That's a mess.
Yeah, it's all a mess. I hope she moves on from this and gets a nice second act of her life. But I hope she still finds happiness.
Maybe she can be a small town divorce attorney. Traffic tickets. Something like that.
That would be lovely. Yes, something far less high stakes.
Let her run the PTA. I think that would be fun. Give her a challenge.
She would run that with an iron fist. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And potentially with a gun. So
that bake sale will never know what hit them.
Exactly. Two random things that both come from Judd Hirsch that I wanted to mention.
Oh, boy.
These amazing quotes that I wrote down specifically from Judd Hirsch. One of which he says, legally brunettes on a tear. When he's talking about Ellen. Incredible.
Which is funny because if he is saying that, then the Legally Blonde films do exist in this universe, but Warner from Legally Blonde was one of Ellen's boy toys, we'll say. Not boyfriend, but she was there.
Okay. Wow. Fascinating. The other one, though, is that Judd Hirsch notices that like Channing is now on the front page with this new leak of like the Chris military stuff, and Judd says that Channing is getting, quote, more ink than that Armenian girl with the big tuchus.
Oh my gosh.
Kim Kardashian,
I mean,
future All's Fair co-star for Glenn. Who could have predicted?
Listen, there were signs.
There were signs for anyone with eyes to see.
Glenn
Yes.
set her intentions so early. This was the long game. I guess everyone watch All's Fair season 2.
Yeah, I guess.
You'll watch it.
I'll watch it. Doesn't mean everyone else has to. But, yeah, this was just such a fun season and such a fun series. I'll do my kind of wrap-up thoughts at the end of the episode, but what a lovely way to end this season and series full circle, and just another incredible Glenn close-up at the end. That is all I asked for in any of my Glenn cinema or television, is just
Your
a great
Glenema
close-up at the end.
is a Glenn.
My Glenema.
close-up.
I don't love the name Glenema, but that's fine.
You took it there.
Anyway, any other thoughts before we talk about the release of the season?
I just love that in season 1, Patty is just like, don't have kids. They'll just, they need so much more from you. And it turns out Ellen, her only way out was to have kids. Her only way away from Patty was to have this child, have something else to focus on, because it was way too easy for her to become Patty in many ways. Like, there's so much there. I do hope, again, 15 years, maybe we get the Damages spinoff with Rose, and then Glenn can come do some cameos, because at that point, I'm like, Glenn, you've done enough for us. You don't have to work if you don't want to. It's like the Julie Andrews, girl, you can stay home, it's good. But I feel like we're not done with Ellen. I want her to have her return. Maybe like Kate, but actually make an impression. Like, you know what? Your kid's grown up. Let's do this. Is Chris Messina still around? Hopefully. He'll probably still be hot. Keep
he
him
will
around.
Definitely still be hot.
Bring Timothy Oliphant back. Have an affair or two. See, hire us for Damages X2.
Exactly. Amazing. Okay. Well, season 5 of Damages aired from July 11th to September 12th, 2012. Ratings-wise, I have no idea because they didn't release that data, but probably not as well as season 4 would be my guess. That just tends to be how things go with television, but critics were still mostly kind to it. There were a few negative critiques of the case of the season not being as gripping compared to previous seasons. Whatever. And there were even some criticism of the overuse of dream sequences. That's something I came across a few times, but I like them. So this was for the fans, not the critics.
I was going to say, sometimes critics are wrong. Too many people have a blog out there and think they're a critic. Please.
Yes, but Glenn and Rose were highly praised, and with awards, it seemed as though Damages was just fully off the radar by this point. So in the Winter Awards for 2012 and heading into 2013, Glenn did return to the Golden Globes with a nomination. So they paid attention at least, but she was not nominated at SAG or Critics' Choice. And then the series was completely blanked at the 2013 Emmys. Not a single nomination. I think it was probably thought of as out of sight, out of mind by that point. The show was just it was over by September of 2012, and they had moved on by July of 2013 when those nominations came out.
And there were so many flashier shows at the time. Yeah. Everything from Homeland, Breaking Bad, Mad Men. Like, people were moving on. Ryan Murphy was, like, terrorizing us all. We had Scandal at the time, so we'd move on to different legal things, which I get it. DirecTV had no idea how to run an awards campaign. Like, fair to say, until they got to Friday Night Lights, which thank goodness they did. Friday Night Lights was also great to the end. But I do think the show deserved awards. This is how I know awards are fake, because Glenn Close was not nominated for every season of Damages. And Rose Byrne was snubbed the first season and then just like only got 2 nominations. That's nonsense. That's silly. No.
But any thoughts on what you think happened here where it kind of petered out in terms of maybe public perception and awards?
I think it was already struggling by season 2 with awards. Like, you could get the big flashy actor names in with seasons 2 and 3, but you move to a DirecTV, which is like not even a real network at that point. They don't have the budget to run awards campaigns. Also, Glenn and Rose are pretty busy in their film careers right now. Like, Glenn's back getting her Oscar nominations and being a box office hit. She's about to be in a Guardian of the Galaxy, which good luck at watching that one. But
thank you. Next
yeah,
week.
I do think it was just so many more flashy things happening at this point at the Emmys, and they were looking for a very, I will say, Ryan Murphy or AMC channel kind of thing. Like Breaking Bad was even doing better at this point at the awards now than any other time. But yeah, I think they just completely moved on by this point. And I don't even think it was viewership, because Mad Men didn't even have great viewership, or Breaking Bad didn't until it hit Netflix way after the fact. It was just like, no, it also premiered like a full year before the Emmy ceremony. It was not going to get nominated.
Right. Yeah. So, right. I think just public perception awareness kind of went down after the DirecTV
And
move,
this is also, we forget about Netflix was becoming huge right this time with Orange is the New Black. Like, again, there was way too much
House
happening
of
on
Cards,
TV.
for better or for worse, too.
Oh, yeah. We do have to mention that.
Yeah.
It was a big time for television to change, and Damages was not changing in the way it needed. Had it been picked up by a Netflix, I think awards galore, because everyone would actually get to see it. But
yeah, and I can see also the formula for the show may have run a little thin for some people by this time. It didn't for me, but I can sort of see like this style maybe not being sustainable for some people, or they felt it was too far-fetched. For me, that's always been part of the fun, but not for everybody, I guess. Regardless, it is a shame, because this was a great season, especially for Glenn and Rose. I think it's a huge oversight to not nominate either of them here.
Oh yeah, it's insane. This is some of their best work throughout the series is in this season, and I love it. And I can never say that this show is too far-fetched, because Breaking Bad is about a high school teacher turned meth kingpin. Sure. Okay.
Yes, but Patty Hewes can't indulge in some light Machiavellian schemes.
Which seems way more accurate these days.
I would say
when we look at our politics today, it's like, you know what? Maybe Patty Hewes. Maybe this is a documentary.
Yeah. I know we want to talk a little bit about the nominees we did get in lead actress in a drama series, because we mentioned it a few times. We had 7 nominees this year, which is insane.
So you're saying there was room?
A tie. There was plenty of room. We have Connie Britton for Nashville, Claire Danes for Homeland, Michelle Dockery for Downton Abbey, Vera Farmiga for Bates Motel, Elizabeth Moss for Mad Men, Kerry Washington for Scandal, and Robin Wright for House of Cards. And Claire Danes was the winner, her 2nd consecutive Emmy. I mean, this is just ridiculous. We couldn't have fit Glenn into this lineup.
I am just shocked, because sorry, Vera Farmiga, that's a fun nomination, but not necessary. I would also get rid of Claire Danes, because I'm one of those people, I enjoyed the first season of Homeland, and it's not even reheating those nachos. They burnt those nachos to a crisp trying to recreate them. It was just the same thing over and over and over, and it was tiring. I love Connie Britton in Friday Night Lights. Nashville was not it, girl. Sorry. No. And even Robin Wright in House of Cards, like, I feel like she had more to do later in the show. It's not even a show I particularly enjoyed, but none of these performances are as good. Like, I would put this above all 7 nominees easily.
Yeah.
It is very funny that Rose Byrne's husband did win an Emmy this year, though.
So she must have potentially attended. So
she
there's
did.
that at least. But,
I'm almost curious to see. Okay, here we go. Anna Gunn for Breaking Bad, Marina Baccarin for Homeland, Christine Baranski, The Good Wife, always my favorite. Oh, Emilia Clarke, Game of Thrones, Christina Hendricks, Mad Men, Maggie Smith, Downton Abbey. Yeah, no, Rose Byrne could have won.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yep. So that's that. Yeah. It's sad that it
is.
petered out that way when it had such a strong start, but that happens to a lot of shows, unfortunately.
It does. It's sad.
Yes. So a few last thoughts about Damages.
Yes.
If we may just kind of wrap this all up and perhaps give a few rankings if we're in the mood for that as well.
Always.
I still think this show, for as acclaimed as it was, and even with Glenn winning a pair of Emmys for it, I still feel like it doesn't get the credit it deserves for innovating as a show with two very complicated women characters at its center, both of them played by actresses giving such deeply complex performances and really kind of reflecting a worldview that is quite cynical, but also not at all inaccurate from how the world, especially in America, how things operate today. Because I feel like this show really benefits from a revisit from a 2026 lens, too, where I feel like a lot of people have become very jaded about people in high positions of power and these guys who are screwing everyone over just to make a buck, and this feeling of like powerlessness of not knowing what to do about it. Well, here's Patty Hewes, and she can be kind of a monster too at times, but she hates these guys with a passion and takes them down and is totally fearless and brings them to justice by playing dirty and taking risks. And so, for me, it's just like this show needs to be seen more today, specifically. Put it on Netflix.
Put it on Netflix. I think it was way back in the day when we were young, Kevin. It's on Tubi now, everyone, so you can watch it. But no, like without damages, like there's the like I hate the term prestige TV because all your prestige TV is just a soap opera. I mentioned it earlier, Mad Men falls into this. Like even when you get into complex women, like Mad Men does have that. These shows started the same year. Mad Men is not about these characters. It's not about Christina Hendricks and Elizabeth Moss. It's not their show. Like, even to that point, Peggy is probably the female lead. January Jones is also a female lead of the show. You have to qualify it. Just the fact that we have Damages, Glenn Close, Rose Byrne, they are the leads of the show. No qualifier there. It is about
even
them.
Even though Rose ran in supporting, but that's fine.
I don't care about category fraud. I don't. I know. But just the fact that you get that, and I think it does help influence things like a Scandal, which, yes, Shonda Rhimes already had, like, the Grey's Anatomy private practice, but Scandal is a little bit more Damages thrown into that formula. You have the How to Get Away with Murders. It is more of that formula. You have Orange is the New Black being a full women ensemble, and men are just kind of there, the same way Tom was kind of there the first few seasons. Rest in peace, Tom. We enjoyed you. Poor guy.
Yeah.
But it is so nice to see women being villainous, being complex, being sympathetic villains, being messy. Like, that's what we want. We are so tired of just like, is Claire Danes just going to have a mental breakdown this season? Who knows? Like, let's see what happens. And that's kind of just how it felt on TV for a long time. It's just like your women characters were just like thrown a storyline off to the side. And it's so nice to see them be the center.
Totally. And also just this running theme of being a woman in power too, and dealing with certain societal expectations about being a career woman versus being a mother or raising a family, what that means for a modern woman trying to have it all.
And like, to see women judge each other is so great.
Yeah, totally. These are very relevant themes that I think are even more fascinating to examine today with, this weird sort of like movement going on lately of sort of traditionalists and conservatives and such with sort of the politics of women.
Oh, yes, the trad wives who are ready to give their votes away to their husbands, vote like a household, whatever. No, some of y'all need a little Patty Hewes in your life. No, be your own person.
Or honestly, Ellen Parsons, too, because she has pushed back on many a man who has tried to take her down in that way.
Exactly. So, even her own fiance who ended up dead. And you know what? If you don't want to end up dead, be your own person.
There you go. So it's just a great show. So smartly written. So great. Excellently performed. I know it's not perfect, but I will take an imperfect show. No, but some of these other shows
we're talking about are also messy and have storylines you don't care about, but the characters are so good you don't really mind.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I will take this over something that has been like universally acclaimed that you can't find fault with, or that I find less interesting to discuss. Like, there's just so much going on that I can't even say everything that happened in this season because there's so much.
There's so much. There are characters we don't get into throughout this whole journey you've been on with the show.
Yeah.
I will watch the worst seasons of this show are way better than whatever the fuck Severance right now. I don't give two fucks about what's going on over there. I don't. It don't matter. That show's not deep or anything. Give us actual complex characters who have something to say. Don't give me a Days of Our Lives C plot from 1986.
Yes. Give me a plot from the 60s for Mad Men.
Yes.
Anyway, did you want to do any quick little rankings? I'm sure you wrote down a few.
We love
our rankings. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, do you have a ranking of Ellen's boyfriends? I know we talked about that.
Of course I do. Should I go? Each season she seems to have at least one boy toy.
Yes.
The worst of them all, number 5, is her fiancé, David. I hate him. He is awful. The fact that he gets swindled by a stalker, you know what? You deserve to die on that one. Number 4 is the guy from season 4 who I call the boring Chris Hughes from As the World Turns. He's cute, but he doesn't show up enough to be important, and sometimes that's okay. You didn't show up enough to be an idiot like David. Number 3 is Warner from Legally Blonde. You do not have a real character name, and the actor is trash in real life, but he was cute in this show, and he helped Ellen get to her goals. Now, top 2. Obviously, it's Chris Messina and Timothy Oliphant. Flip a coin. Make it the thruple. I will say, if you're being a real, reasonable person, if this is like, you either have to, like, fuck them or marry them, you're Timothy Oliphant number 2, Chris Messina number 1. But if you're just going off passion, if you're going off fire, who had the best chemistry, Chris Messina number 2, Timothy number 1.
Yeah, I would have the same ranking, even though I would personally, just my own personal taste, go for Chris Messina top either way. Sorry, bad choice of words. Anyway.
I was going to let it slide.
Chris Messina,
he would
top.
take care of you.
Yes, I think so.
He is so hot, even whenever he is like stuck in whatever prisoner thing he is in.
Yes, bearded,
so
clean shaven. I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
Either way. Yes.
He is such a supportive boyfriend in season 5 when Ellen's mom's going through it with the divorce. And I'm like, he is so fine with her just coming over. You know David would never be that fine. He would make it about him somehow.
He'd be a little bitch about it.
He would. Exactly. David, we do not miss you. Your flashbacks, you did look a lot cuter in the flashbacks. Your styling was way better.
Yes. Looking better in death.
Yes.
But I will say, probably for Ellen, it is very much like the one that got away for Wes whenever she thinks about it a little bit. It's just
That's why you bring him back for the sequel show.
Yeah. That's true. He's out of prison hopefully by that point. So
hopefully, or maybe he's her client.
Oh, okay.
I'm on to something
ideas
here.
Yes. What other rankings have you written anything down other than seasons? Because I didn't really have anything else. I'm sure you have others.
I have some. I was trying to rank all of the like cases each season, but like the main villainous characters within this. Obviously, I do think, just in terms of villainy, Arthur Frobisher, number 1. He is somehow devious, camp, actually kind of scary, somebody you probably could meet in real life. Like, obviously, he is way too many one-to-ones with certain political figures that are in office right now. It is deeply terrifying. So, he's number 1. In terms of just main villains, I will say John Goodman is so good playing that
incredible
conservative family man, but also just the worst person you know. I will give him number 2 because he is so grounded. Mm-hmm. Because my number 3 is the Tobin son, I guess. What's it? Joe Tobin is his name?
Yes.
I was trying to just
Campbell Scott.
I was about to just call him Campbell Scott. Mostly because there are some of those times when he's committing some murders where I'm like, okay, this is a little silly right now. You do seem a little cartoonish, but I'm here for it. And then number 4, I will say Channing, because who is the villain of season 2? Are we supposed to think it's William Hurt, or is it the other one guy, or is it Daryl Hammond being kind of creepy?
Well, him, but also the John Doman. I don't remember his character name.
Yeah.
Walter Kendrick?
Yeah, the one that had a lot of scenes with Marcia Gay Harden. I guess
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
but mostly because that season is a mess. I will just put that at the bottom because you're not entirely sure what's going on and not all those threads work out. Plus,
Yeah.
you don't really see what the actual impact it's having, I don't think. It's just a mess.
Yeah. I mean, not to totally copy you, but I would easily have that same ranking that way. And I just want to say once more, the specific naming of Arthur Frobisher, one of the best names.
One of the best names.
I mean, yeah.
And like, I'm
So.
trying to think of just other rankings I had, like lawyer-wise, but again, my top lawyer that Patty goes against is Martin Short because he like wins in the end in his own
yes.
way. I think he's so good. The fact he did not win an Emmy for that, don't look up the name. I will probably yell at whoever actually won that year. Martin Short.
I think that was Aaron Paul.
Oh, fuck, Breaking Bad. I don't like that show. Come for me, guys. Who cares? But no.
What prestige show will you bash next?
Come at me.
Yes.
No, Martin Short, so good. Number 2 for that was obviously Jelko. I think he is so good as Ray Fisk. I loved him so much. And then who are the other lawyers in this? Marcia Gay, you're great. I'm not sure which side you actually ended up being on. You were a hot girl. You were a bad bitch. You deserved better. Where's your spinoff?
Period.
And then season 4 and 5, like, doesn't really matter there.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say Ellen is like the one of season 5. But
I guess so.
Yeah. So she'd be number 1 kind of automatically. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we could do a season ranking if you would like to.
Are you ready?
I can do mine first here.
Go for it.
Yes, my number 1 is season 1. I think it's just top to bottom a phenomenal season of television that they clearly did, to your point earlier, spend more time on than the next 4 seasons. And it's just so tightly constructed, and, you know, you never forget your first. So that's always going to have a special place in my heart. I would do season 3 is my number 2 because I am obsessed with just how dark and Shakespearean and family oriented that season is. And just the stuff with Tom is so tragic too. Like, you can really feel the thematic weightiness of the series in that
poor Tom.
season. My number 3 is this past season 5. I think it is a real return to form, to your point. All the odd number seasons are right at the top for me. Such a smart decision to have Ellen and Patty face off and to weave the personal and professional lives of them in this. Just really fun. And for me, season 2 is my number 4 because it's kind of like the sum of its parts are greater than the whole for me.
Yeah.
And it is inconsistent with, I think the William Hurt stuff doesn't really work in the end. I do love Marcia Gay Harden. I think there's some kind of a camp component to whatever she's doing in like a sort of femme fatale way. But I just, it didn't quite hit me in terms of the case itself, despite the fact that I think that finale is phenomenal with Ellen and Patty in the end. And, you know, Patty admitting everything there. And then I would have season 4 last just because it felt like more of a divergence from the legal world that I really enjoyed being into more of like now we're in Catherine Bigelow land. And
yes,
I'm like,
exactly.
Okay, well, this is just a different show, but, you know, still has its moments like John Goodman. So there's no bad season of the show, but that would be my ranking.
These are all better than whatever the hell was happening on Apple TV recently.
Yeah. Do you want to name any other shows?
Give me a minute. They canceled one of my favorite shows last year. I'll fight them. No, I do think we are correct in that it almost seems like there's a tier system to it where 1 and 3 are the best. I would say I'll probably rewatch season 3 before season 1 again, so maybe I'll put 3 first. Season 5 right in the middle, but I do think it is much better than 4 and 2. And then I will give season 4 that credit because I think there's so much good Ellen and Patty stuff. They spend more time together than they do in season 2. But also, again, there's no bad season because season 2 has Marcia Gay Harden being hot and conspiring, and Timothy is right there just being beautiful, teaching our girl how to use a gun. Everybody, we are not for gun rights, but if we are watching TV and Timothy's teaching how to shoot a gun, that's okay.
I think so. Yeah. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yes. So fun. All right, let's get to our last segment where we're going to rate Glenn's performance on a very specific scale. Thinking about her performance as Patty Hewes in this final season of Damages, is she ready for her close-up? Is it close but no cigar? Is it low Glenergy? Is it Glennicent? I feel like I know your answer, but I'm just going through what I always do. So
imagine if I
for it.
said this was low Glenergy or Glennicent.
Yeah, not for me.
That's
Yeah.
insane. No, Glenn is ready for her close-up every single season of this show. Like, no ifs, ands, buts about it. She is wonderful in this. Give her Oscars for this as well. Give her some more Tonys. Give her a Grammy.
Yes.
Why not? That opening sequence is great. Her face is there. No, she is so wonderful. This is easily one of her most defining roles, one of her most important roles. And I think more people need to fire up their Tubi and start watching Damages, because it's just watching this whole journey of watching everything. We were in such a good era of TV from 2007 to 2012 that we really took this dinner of a show for granted. Like, we were getting full meals. Even the messiest seasons, like 2 and 4, were still so much more entertaining than some of the slop we're getting now. They actually have production design. There's like style to things. It really makes me miss old television. And I say old because tragically, this stuff is like, what, 14 years old now? God.
Yeah, the season we cover is 14 years old now. Can
Dear
you
God.
believe it? Yeah.
I'm ancient.
Yep. This is an easy ready for her close-up. So yes, that is a ready for her close-up for Glenn's entire run on Damages for me, of course. This is one of the definitive television characters and should be discussed among the Tony Sopranos and the Walter Whites and the Don Drapers. But she made it that way, I think. Even though the character is very well written, it's her performance that did this. Her ferocity, the dry wit that she would have at times, how credible she seems as an authority figure.
And like you talked about this with Dangerous Liaisons, just the way she's able to use her eyes and seem so calculating, but then you can see heartbreak within like moments of that. It's just magic, whatever she is able to do.
The kind of quiet tragedy of Patty's life, I think you see reflected in some moments here. And she plays it all with such style and wears the hell out of those suits. And
she looks good. Even with some questionable hairstyles, I'm wondering what the wig budget was in season 5. But still, I am so here for this. Everyone
One
go
of
watch
the
Damages.
highlights. One of the highlights of her career. Chelsea, thank you so much for joining me. This was such a treat. Rounding out Damages with
Thank you for having me. This has been a joy to revisit. I'm so glad I rewatched the entire series for this so we could have this fun discussion. It was worth every minute of it. You know, I watch TV like I'm a professional, like it's worrisome in some days, but this was always a joy. I will say, if you are marathoning Damages, maybe toss in a fun one at the end of the night, like just a fun show by the end. Maybe put some Muppets on before bed, or else you'll end up with Patty's night terrors.
You might see Catherine in your dreams.
You might see Catherine. You might see Rose Byrne covered in blood speaking like Catherine. Who knows? What a show. It has everything.
Yeah, you might even see David. God forbid.
You
don't
the
want that.
Scariest dream of all.
Yes.
So glad we ignored his season 5 appearances for the most part.
Absolutely. Yes. One more quick thing, even though we're running super long. Glenn is an honorary Oscar winner.
Oh my gosh, Kevin. This is so important. I'm shocked we didn't lead with it. Just the fact that I was in my head making jokes about Glenn becoming an honorary Oscar winner, and then it happens. This is like, we need to mark this day in history. Honorary Oscars matter because that means you're extra special to the industry. Some people, not everybody gets those. It's truly Glenn and Angela Bassett, and that feels correct to my heart. Obviously, she should have multiple Oscars, like, no question.
Yes.
But the fact that she gets to have her own time, like, how are we going to sneak you into this Governor's Awards ceremony? We're going to get it.
It has to happen.
Has to happen.
Yep.
But think of somebody more deserving of this. Like,
I can't.
I really can't. Living right now? No. Sometimes Lifetime Achievement Awards are bullshit, but things like this do actually matter because you are literally going through her whole filmography of work, and she has done everything. It's not just these bad bitch characters. She has like these warm, heartfelt characters. You see
Sarah
how
Plain and Tall.
Sarah Plain and Tall. You've seen her be a producer. You have seen her actually work, honestly doing great work for queer rights, being an outspoken ally. What a woman. Glenn, we love you so much. You deserve this. You bask in this. You gloat. Take as many pictures as you want. Look at what Faye Dunaway did. Go bigger.
I would love a whole photo shoot with her Oscar. Yes.
We need it.
This is such a treat, and especially for it to come around as I'm doing this podcast and really appreciating this.
Kevin,
I'm not going
we've
to say
said
I had
people,
a hand in this happening, but like...
I said that because, Kevin, you know I believe in a higher power, and sometimes if you think it, you speak it. It happens. Literally a year into your show, this happens. Come on. We have to give some credit where it's due. Kevin, you have kept Glenn alive for so many people. Thank you. Everyone go check out her movies. They all seem to be on Tubi.
Tubi has her whole filmography.
Tubi, you should sponsor this show.
Yes, please do. I would love to ad read for Tubi because they have saved my ass on so many occasions here.
I know. It's great. I love a Tubi.
Yes, but as everyone has said, this is as exciting for me as it is for her, probably more so for me than it is for her. Lord knows she is humble. But yeah, I'm just so thrilled. And thank you to everyone for reaching out personally to congratulate me as if I'm part of this. But, you know, it is just such a treat when your favorite actress is finally getting the recognition that she deserves. And it is going to be very surreal to see that woman holding an Oscar of her own. Let me just tell you. Just surreal.
It feels so correct.
Yes. So I just wanted to close with that. I'm just so...
Glenn Close with that?
Glenn Close with that. Period. Yes. Where can people find more of you on the internet?
Oh, goodness. When I'm not being a terror in all of my group chats, I am Chelsea725 on the Blue Sky, Serialized, occasionally Letterboxd. Definitely check out my Serialized. I'm not kidding. I watch more TV than most people. And then I am Chelsea Eichholz on Instagram. If you can find my Tumblr, you're stronger than Glenn Close. But I also have so many shows across the Hooniverse, a Doctor Who marathon podcast, where I'm about to start series 2, and one of your girls, Pauline Collins, she is in an episode as a queen, so look out, everybody. We got actresses in Doctor Who. Carey Mulligan's in an iconic episode as well. But then I also have the Q Division, a James Bond movie marathon podcast. And check those out wherever you listen to podcasts. I will have Kevin on one day for Spy, where we can talk more Rose Byrne and how she should have won an Oscar for that role.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, so exciting.
I know. So excited for our journey. But then I have My Stories Are On with my friends Jesse, Owen, and Paige. I also have And a Rewatch because My Stories Are On is kind of a spinoff of that. So check that out. It's all in my link tree and my Instagram bio. Everyone, I'm always yapping about something. I'm easy to find.
Very good.
I'm here a lot.
You are, yes. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find me at Kevin_Jacobsen on Twitter and Instagram, just Kevin Jacobsen, no underscore on Blue Sky. You can also listen to my Oscar-themed podcast, And the Runner-Up Is, for coverage of every single Best Actress race. That's And the Runner-Up Is on all platforms. And to keep up with the world according to Glenn on social, follow The Glenn Pod. Rate, review, and follow on all podcast platforms. And with that, I'll bid you all adieu.